Where's the record button in OBS? Here it is.
It's figuring
That
figure
way I have a
yourself.
copy of both of us talking
Yeah, if you record in
to help
OBS.
line up audio if anything goes weird.
Okay, well it's good we have a backup if you want. I guess Pat, yeah, I guess we're live. You wanna get started with
We
this?
are live. Should I do some sort of an intro, Jeremy?
I would be I'd be honored if you introduced us.
Well, thank you. Do I have anything on my face, like coffee? Should I check that?
Hmm.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Create Invent podcast live stream end of the year extravaganza. I'm here with my co host, Jeremy S. Cook from jeremyscook.com. And Jeremy tells me we're going to jump right into the coffee break today because he doesn't want to forget to record it later.
Right, yeah, exactly. So no, that's exactly right. Last time it was amazing because we realized we hadn't done it and I my battery was about to run out. We literally what within 5 seconds it just went dead. So
Oh, yeah.
that's
I
not
clicked done recording and then your screen went black and said no battery.
yeah. But listen, we're gonna try to take this seriously this time. I know sometimes we have a bit of fun with it, but you know we do appreciate you guys' patronage. That's awesome. So Carl, always appreciated
Patronage.
patronage.
I keep
Is
saying
it?
patronize.
Well, thank you for patronizing us. I guess, Carl. We saw you. I saw you Tuesday. Pat didn't see you because he lives in Texas, but so hello again. Hope you're listening, and thank you for your patronage, Michael Sizer. Thank you as well, Raptor, Stuart Morrow, Brian Moses, and Positive Waves. Thank you so much for your support monetarily. It's much appreciated. And of course, you can give us a thumbs up or watch our podcast. You can give it a thumbs up right now as you're watching. That's awesome. And Pat, just in case people want to know, where would they go if they did want to patronize
Well,
us?
I'm going to tell you, Jeremy, I just went to the website just to make sure I don't read it incorrectly because
Okay.
I'm an adult like that. If you would like to donate a small amount of your monthly paycheck to the Create Invent podcast, you can go to patreon.com/the creativity podcast.
Right.
All one word, no spaces, no weird punctuation or anything. But you
Very
don't
good.
have to do that. I don't want to I don't want to make you feel awkward. I'm very happy if you just like this video or this audio wherever you're listening to it, whatever kind of like or comment you could leave. I'd be excited about that.
Yeah. Well, and I guess the other thing I was thinking about, I was watching PBS the other day, or my kids were, and I was in the room too, and they mentioned you could donate your house to PBS. So if you want to donate your house or other valuable assets to the Creative Event podcast, and well,
My
I don't even
gosh,
know.
Jeremy, I could hardly maintain my own house.
You're
And
right.
now
Well,
I'd have to maintain a house and a half?
okay. Well, I
Oh
don't
my
know.
goodness. Jeremy, I'm getting nervous. You're making me giving me anxiety here,
Okay, I
Jeremy.
was I was joking about that, but we do have the I think the bad investment level of patronage. We got the plastic level, aluminum, uh, shack steel level, and then I think probably bad return on investment level. I don't know. I'm on the
I should know these names. I'm on the plastic level.
oh
You
okay
don't read
very
my name off
I
every
don't usually
month,
that's just
but
embarrassing.
I'm in the, Did you know my wife was mad that you stopped reading her name? And then she realized Patreon got confused with her credit card and she just hasn't been paying.
Oh well
So
yes if you don't pay you don't get a shout out. Although
it's true. Yeah.
if you ask nicely enough we would probably give you a shout out. So hello
Oh, I
Chris.
totally would.
Yeah. But yeah, so we got that, and of course, Patreons help make the show possible, or at least encourage us. But the other thing that definitely makes the show possible, I mean, it's an interview show, so we have had some fantastic guests, Pat. I mean, I think we maybe just wanted to kind of like maybe give them a shout out, just think about what we've gone through this year. We had in episode 54, Alex Kaur, he talked about making your recording space more better, and
More better.
that was awesome.
It
That
is
was awesome.
Alex's fault that my audio is improved. in here, but that's because he came in the room here and he helped me out with I don't know where to point, sound panels, and he's the reason I upgraded to this particular mic.
Okay, very good.
So
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, we enjoyed him. He did a great job, and as you might suspect, his audio was fantastic. Although we have lots of audio people
no,
on
it
here.
wasn't. He was talking
wasn't?
on headphone crappy microphone.
You're right about that. Because anyone we have on related to sound, generally they have problems. It's very strange, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. His background was nice though. That was
Yeah,
fantastic.
he did a cool background.
Um, then after that we had a live stream. We had Maker Mike Sizer called in, one of our Patreons. So it was very cool of him.
That was fun. We talked to him about
He was
air
making
monitoring.
yeah, he was making
devices.
a sensor array, basically trying to put a bunch of cheaper sensors together to make something more awesome. So I don't know where he's gone with that. I hope he if he's listening, he call in and tell us. Maybe
If we were smarter, we could have collected some of this data. We could have Googled it before today, but we're not. We're professional, but not that professional.
yeah, yeah. It's then after that we had Stephen Hawes on here. Well, he did a man. He was a fantastic guy. It's I told somebody I was like, I went into the interview a little bit skeptical about the whole thing, but man, that guy
But
convinced me that
what
he
whole
was.
thing?
Oh, sorry. He makes an open source PNP, pick and place, like picks and places components, and it's basically like an automatic assembly machine. But after talking to him, I was like, wow, this guy's the real deal. Now, that being said, I wasn't as convinced as Pat because, well, you can tell us about that, Pat.
I bought one. It's right back here. You can hardly see it. I should put a light specifically on it.
Yeah.
But Steven's
So,
done a good job. I hope he'll come on and talk to us again because mine's. I'm gonna goof this up. I goof this up every time. Mine's the version 2, where it's just a bunch of components in a box. Version 3 has a bunch of upgrades, and it's ships in like 3 big pieces pre-assembled. So you have kind of flat packs, and then I spend a weekend putting mine together, and now you spend like an hour or two putting them together. And
nice.
it sounds like he's doing a good job. So
I'm sure he is doing a good job. So yeah, we should we'd love your suggestions of who to have back on, who new people to have on, whatever. Pretty much, there's very few people on here that we wouldn't want to have on again, but unfortunately, we only have so much time. So
yep, I've
it
been
is what it
trying to
is.
get Jeremy to not come back, but he just keeps showing up. I don't.
I keep showing up. I almost didn't today because I kind of forgot about it until 8:15. I looked at my phone and I was like, oh, what is this appointment? It's created in
Yeah.
the podcast. So after that, we had Zap Wizard, and he makes some really neat functional props. I think it did an article on
Props
one of his
like
things.
movie prop style
Movie props,
thing,
exactly.
not just.
Right. So he did a Mandalorian throttle, and basically his big thing was he does a bunch of Pip Boy props and stuff. He also does
Yeah, the
some
Pip Boy from the Fallout video game series.
right, very
It's
good
an arm. It's like a giant wristwatch.
giant. Yeah. No, he does some cool stuff. He also does like really custom knife stuff that he gets like 3D printed in China or something. It's very
Yeah,
interesting.
from Shapeways, I think. For
Yeah,
what are those knives? Leatherman tools.
Leatherman. Yeah, Leatherman.
I'm not a Leatherman fan, Jeremy. I don't like the pliers. I have no use
No,
for pliers.
I like him. Generally,
I'm
generally
a
speaking.
Swiss Army knife fan.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, it's funny. Maker Mike Sizer, when he came on, he had one of the Leatherman wrist things. It's got like a bunch of tools around
Yeah.
your wrist. And I think I might have had one on. I have two knockoffs actually, and I may have had one on too.
How do you like them?
It's great. I'm a little ashamed at how good the knockoff is because it's I don't know. It's amazing. So it's great when you're
Awesome.
riding your bike or and you need to like adjust something. You just got it in your wrist. You take it off. You make the adjustment. It doesn't have a pump though, so if your
Yep.
tires go flat, then you're out
And
of
my
luck.
pump. Do you have a portable pump?
I don't carry one with me. I probably should.
The- My battery powered pump is huge. It looks like a drill, but it's fantastic.
Okay, very very good. It's
Don't know where I'm going with that. It just
yeah
it seemed to fit.
yeah. And then after that we had who do we have on after that, Pat?
We had my friend Hash was on talking about hacking smart power meters on your house. The box that lives outside your house that keeps track of how much electricity you've used.
Yeah.
And
Well, you know,
he
was
talked
interesting
about
about that.
general reverse engineering and whatnot. It was
Yeah.
really, really interesting.
Yeah, it was very interesting. You know, the interesting thing about that interview was I felt like, there were two things that I thought were interesting. He's an interesting guy just
Interesting. Do you know how
generally.
many times you and I have just said interesting?
Probably a lot. Um,
Five.
Fine. Okay. But the one thing is, I felt like he was his speaking was so polished and he was so on message that almost felt like some guests you have to kind of, prompt, and I feel like you have to kind of like lead them through the conversation. I felt like he was so good that I actually had to kind of try to throw him off just a little bit so I could get something, like a little wacky out of him. And he did a great job as you'd expect.
He
Um,
really did.
the other thing was I didn't even mention it during the interview, but I actually worked for a smart meter company for a while, so he's probably like taken apart some stuff that I've been involved with. I work for Itron, and they make smart meters and stuff, and so
He told us who makes the smart meters. He's been They're the ones we use here in Dallas because
okay.
he's not my
Uh,
neighbor, but he's a short drive from here.
I mean, there's what GE is one of the big makers. Itron, trying to remember who else. It doesn't matter. Anyway, he was a good guest, and we liked having him on. Um,
I enjoyed our next guest after that, Jeremy.
I did too, and he was a audio focused guest as well. I can't remember if his audio was good or was bad.
It was
I think we
fine.
did.
It was normal.
I think we had some issues though. 'Cause that's the thing. We gotta build them as non-audio people, and then it'll be
Yeah,
fine.
he took out his headphones and left during the coffee break, and when he came back, things were goofed up or something. That's how you know he's an
Yeah,
audio person.
yeah. But no, it was cool to have him on. Basically, the
You didn't
guy's
even tell
name's
us who he is.
yeah. Oh, sorry. He calls himself. He goes by MIDI error. So like you MIDI machine, it's got an error, MIDI error. Somehow he's adopted that name, and he's proud of this, and I think it's awesome actually. But he was my in addition to being he had his own podcast for quite some time where he'd interview, I think it was called MIDI Arab Meets, and he would interview different creators and stuff. And he kind of put it into that, not because he wasn't being successful, but I think he just didn't have time for it. Because the last guy he had on to his podcast, I think you know who I'm talking about, right? You remember that? Who it was, Pat?
I do. It was Fatboy Slim, is what you told me.
Right.
Is that wrong?
And no, you're right about that. And his name's also Norman Cook. No relation to me, as far as you know. But the interesting thing was, my wife and I, we were talking about, we were watching this documentary in Woodstock '99, and all of a sudden Fatboy Slim's on there, and I'm like, yeah, Amber, I know a guy that knows a guy, and it's kind of like,
Yeah.
wow, it's like a small world. You know what I mean?
You're Kevin Baconing.
I'm Kevin Baconing. Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
yeah. And then so he was great. And then our next guest, Brett.
As always, our next guest was fantastic.
Yeah.
Matt
So
Matt Perks from DIY Perks, right?
yeah, Matt Perks.
Can you
He did a
believe I
great.
can remember these in order, Jeremy? I'm impressed with
It's
myself.
it's it's amazing that you can do that without SoundCloud up where we broadcast from. But yeah, yeah, Matt Perks, aka DIY Perks. He was, as you would expect, he was fantastic. He probably inspired me to try to step up my video game as far as how it looks because he doesn't claim to be that good at video, but he is quite good.
His quality's always fantastic.
Yeah, yeah,
And I keep saying I'm pretty sure he's the nicest guy on YouTube. But I
he
have a
is.
feeling that Stephen Hawes of the Lumen PNP, they might give each other a run for their money. I don't know who's in the lead. And I don't know if it's
Yeah,
a contest
yeah,
either.
they're very
But
nice. I think Steven's maybe like slightly more enthusiastic, maybe.
I
I mean, they're
believe
both
that.
pretty enthusiastic though.
Yeah.
But somebody's got to be the winner. But that
I'd
doesn't mean
watch
he's
their
nicer.
I'd watch their show on MTV
If they
if
were
they
like,
had one,
if they
or
had like
wherever
a,
they would have one.
Would they be
VH1.
like
I don't know.
roommates or something and just hang out?
Oh, like a sitcom. Okay.
Yeah. What show were you talking?
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. Like a podcast. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah. Well, we can. Yeah. Um. So yeah. So after that, we did what? What did we do after that? We did a live
we did another
episode.
live stream.
Yeah, and then Mr. Forbits joined us. He said something about trying to crash our party tonight, so we'll have to see. Um, he was he was a great guest. He introduced us to Zardoz, which has been
Yep.
it's quite weird. Go ahead, Pat.
I well, I was gonna say something, but forget it. It's too complicated. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It's way too weird. We could cut that
Anyway,
out.
besides apparently being a fan of wacky '70s movies, he also has a store on Tindy. Sells what is it? Well, 4-bit Industries. This is his thing. So I actually saw him on Tuesday, same time I saw Carl, and he said that his sales are doing pretty well for the Christmas time and
Oh, good.
holidays in general. So it's yeah, so good
There
good for
are
him.
there are 27 holidays between the end of November and the middle of January. I don't
Really?
think it's 27, but it's a lot. There's a large number of various holidays in that
Yeah, I'm
range.
sure. I mean,
And I wish I'd known that longer because that's a lot of things I could be celebrating. That's a lot of excuses to party, and I appreciate that a lot.
yeah, and you like to party, Pat. I saw you
We
were.
like to party.
Hey, speaking of that, I saw. So not that I'm stalking you, but I saw on Discord seemed like you were you were active at like 7 a.m. my time, which is like 6 a.m. your time. So have you switched your sleep cycle?
Yeah,
Are you now nocturnal?
some stuff happened, and then my friend Brian had shoulder surgery last week, and he asked me and Chris to come over to send his son to school in the morning. So I just stayed awake until we went over there at like 5 a.m. or whatever it was. And then
Okay,
now I've been upside down officially ever since then.
okay. Well, I hmm, that's interesting.
And
I had a
I'm trying to flip it back around. This podcast goofed me up because I couldn't. I had to be awake for this, so
so
I had to.
you just woke up. Do you set an alarm for this?
I set an alarm, but I beat it by 15 minutes. I was awake on my own 15
Okay,
minutes
well
early.
I'm very very
But
proud you
for
woke
those
up.
who don't know, because most people are probably going to listen to this after it's published somewhere, it is 10 to 8 p.m.
Right,
7:48 actually, exactly.
right,
Here in
and where Pat is here it's 8:48. So in
yeah,
Florida
Jeremy is from the future.
from the
I
future.
get all my stock tips from Jeremy. He sends them to me, and I put the orders in an hour early.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Our other guest, our last guest, Pat,
Our final guest of the year.
you're gonna have to give me a hard time about this, but I was supposed to release the podcast today because third Thursday of the month. I guess we're just doing a live stream day, but Anthony Garofalo or Proto G, he came on and talked to us about his some basically he works for Jeff
Blue
Bezos'
Origin.
space Blue Origin, right? Exactly. And man, he was a great guest too. We had him on in episode 10, I believe. Is that right? Um, quite some
Well, I
time
wasn't
ago.
here yet on episode 10, so I'm a
You're
little
right.
fuzzy on
Pat
I can tell you exactly the dates of all the ones I was involved in.
Pat 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 does not like to claim Proto G. He didn't have you know, no, he was on
I missed
episode
out on.
he was on
Sorry.
episode 10 right after Laura Kampf and right before we had Will Smith on, which um from Foo VR, not the guy from the movies and
Not
such.
not the Fresh Prince.
Not the Fresh Prince. And yeah, so anyway, we had a great year, I think, as far as people that come on. We just want to say thank you to everybody. It's really really great and pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's been fantastic.
Yeah. So I guess we had some other things to talk about. You got any goals for 2023, Pat?
Ooh, do I have any? You know, I don't know if this is a goal, but the last year I failed to come up with something. You know, a few years ago I learned to fly FPV drones, quadcopters, and that used to be hard to do. It's a lot easier to do now, but I thought that was an interesting skill. And then a few years later, I learned how to ride an electric unicycle, and that's a weird, unique, challenging skill. I haven't. I want to come up with a new challenging skill to learn.
What are
Hopefully,
you
a
thinking?
useful one, but something challenging. And I've not come up with a new one. Somebody suggested juggling, but I don't. Maybe you suggested juggling.
Wait, is my mic muted? Did I mute myself when I coughed?
Well, you're talking. I hear you now.
Okay. Well, anyway, I was trying to mute myself because I coughed. But anyway, yeah, I think I did suggest juggling, so you could be a juggalo. But that's not what that means at all. I don't think.
Yeah,
Um,
my wife learned to solve a Rubik's cube. That was kind of cool, but I can't steal her thing.
yeah, I can't steal her thing. Well, do you have any other ideas that you might pick up?
I have none. Does that make this a terrible segment? If I have none, no challenging skills to
No,
pick up.
that's
But
okay.
I'm
Well,
hoping
what
that
were
the
you?
viewers can tell us, listeners can give me a
Oh,
suggestion.
oh, for sure. Yeah, if you are listening and you have a skill or something you want to share with us, your goals for 2023, we would love for you to, call in and say what it is. Um, well, Pat, what about have you accomplished anything in 2022? Have you filled your goals for 2022, if you had any?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I'm not good at having these solid goals. I know for the Butter What show we wanted to make sure we did 4 episodes, one episode a week every week. And we decided to change our format and we haven't gotten back into it. We stopped in November, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we had holidays and surgeries and things going on, so we slowed down there. But I wanted to make sure that my video and audio got better every every time we recorded, and I think for the most part that was true. I had a few setbacks, and it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back every now and then. But I hope I'm doing a good job.
Yeah, yeah. No, it looks good for sure. I mean, you look how it's improved and stuff, and if you're watching Pat's video is definitely better. His audio, I think, is better. I don't know. I guess I don't
I've
know.
taken ever since I rearranged the office. I've taken a step back. I think because my sound panels don't work as well in this corner as they did when I was sitting in that corner over there. But it's
Okay.
not much. I noticed the difference, but I bet nobody else does.
Yeah, I don't know. As long as it's consistent, I think between a
Yeah,
but yeah, that was one of my goals. I actually write down my goals. I'm not going to show everything, but it's
oh, nice.
one of my goals for 2022 was to improve the podcast. So hopefully I've done that. I don't know. Got some paneling up there, which may or may not have been there last year. I
I
don't
see
quite
it up
remember.
there.
Yeah, and then I'm using my Sony camera, which is a vast improvement over my webcam. So that's good. Um, yeah, so I guess you know I, I got a bunch of goals. You want me to tell you some other ones that I
Yeah,
made and or let's see.
and I'll tell you if
So
they're good ideas or bad ideas or achievable or whatnot
okay, well
or something.
I don't have my 2023 goals made out yet, but
Oh,
um, let's see. I don't think I do, but I got the 2022. You could tell me if you think I did a good job or a bad job.
okay. I could do
So
that.
so yeah, I said one new customer platform, and I did right for them, although I haven't really heard much back from them in the last few months. So I think maybe hopefully I didn't like offend them or something. It
Yeah,
was
maybe that's a step forward and then back.
yeah. I mean it felt
One of those.
pretty good. You wanna know why I think I might have offended them?
Only if
Should I?
you're willing to tell us. Is this hard
Well,
hitting journalism?
it's
Or
it's somewhat hard hitting. I don't know. It wasn't. So anyway, I was on a conference call with the customer and all these people. I've basically written something up for them, and somebody's like basically telling me, oh well, this needs to be in there, this needs to be in there, and then he says, I was like, well, this is kind of weird. I'm thinking like I'm pretty sure I have this in here. He's like, well, maybe it's in later. As we go through the whole thing, And I said, well, you haven't read it, you know? And I don't know. Maybe this guy was important or something. I don't really know. But
Yeah.
you know, but whatever. Maybe not. Maybe they just got busy with other customers. So, but you just wonder what goes on behind the scenes,
Yeah.
sometimes. But probably
Well,
probably need to.
are you bummed out about this, or are you okay with it?
I'm pretty much okay with it. So
Okay.
it's fine. So it's oh, one goal that I had, like kind of added it later, was to do a new JC Pro Macro 2 with the hot swap keys. Well, that I didn't quite do because I was going to do the Kickstarter toward the end of this year, and they rejected me, and I
Don't
just
tell
thought
us too much about the macro pad, because we could spend 5 minutes talking about the macro pad, because I have questions.
okay. Well, yeah, we'll just say I didn't quite get my Kickstarter that I was hoping to do. I was also working on something I call a zone clock, which basically has a PCB behind it, has all the different time zones on it, and it's like I've gotten that done, but I haven't put a video out on it yet. So I don't know if that's a. What do you think? You think that's a success? And it needs some improvement. So you
Can I
think this
buy
is a
it yet?
success? No, you
Can I
cannot.
purchase it?
No, I don't know
No.
if I'm gonna. Okay, so I'm doing a bad job.
I don't
So
think you're doing a bad job, because you've accomplished all of the hardest work, and now it's finishing touches to get a product out the door. So I think you've done a good job.
yeah, I guess you're right.
I should
But
get signs. Good job, bad job. I could hold them up as your.
yeah, but I mean, that's good. I lost a little bit of weight this year, so that's good. My goal was to
Nice
get
job.
consistently under 240 pounds, and I don't know. I've been, weighing like 238, 239 or so. So, for me, that's pretty good. I'm pretty pretty tall, so yeah, it's not a. That sounds like a lot of weight probably to most people, but to me, that's a pretty healthy
I
weight.
think that's a good job. I don't
Yeah,
understand. See, I don't understand how tall you are, because I only see you on the internet, and that doesn't help me
yeah. Well, I'm
any.
6'4" or 6'3" in a little fraction. So
But that's just a number, Jeremy. That's
that's
just. Yeah, I
that's
used to work somewhere in a cubicle farm, and there was one guy who was really, really tall. Like I was. This was when I was, my first real job. So I was in the little tech support cubes that are only about this high,
right,
sitting down. So if you go to talk to your friend, you just lean over their cube, like this. And
right.
then there were on the other end of the room, there were tall cubes that, you and I, we could peek over them. You could get your nose up there
Yeah.
and look over, like Improvement, the neighbor from Home Improvement. There was a He would walk up to those tall cubes and just put his arms up on them and talk to people.
Oh wow.
I don't remember his name. I don't remember what he looked like. I just remember he was really tall.
Well, I remember I worked with an engineer, and he was probably 3 inches taller than me. He was very tall, and we walked in. It was like one of the supervisor's offices. We were both in his door, and the guy says, "Man, I have never been so intimidated."
Yeah,
But
I'm not as tall as you, Jeremy. I'm what am I, about 6 foot, maybe 5'11"? I don't know, but
as
but
far
I
as I
do know
know,
that when people are taller than me, it's disconcerting. It doesn't
hmm,
happen. I don't stand in front of people and talk to people who are taller than me often enough that I feel weird when I look up when I'm talking to make eye contact.
right? Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, not most. I'm taller than
Yeah,
most
like an
people.
inch or two probably doesn't matter, but if you're up a little bit, I feel weird. It just doesn't. My brain doesn't understand what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
My
nice being.
goal for 2023 is to be 3 inches taller.
I saw you can do that. Apparently, they break your femur. It's like very painful. Have you seen
You can
this?
have very long legs.
Yeah, basically
I
like
can have
it's
very.
like the opposite of that guy on King of the Hill. What is the name? Cotton, I
Oh
guess,
yeah,
right?
Cotton
You
Hill.
know,
Yeah,
he had the
he
tiny
lost
legs
his shins in the
in
war.
Korea or something, Vietnam.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that show the other day. I don't know. It's
It's a good show. I
it's a good.
I watched about half of it this year.
Was Hank Hill? Was he supposed to be one of the characters from Beavis and Butthead, like the guy that
He's
for those.
almost that character. I mean, officially he's not, I don't think. But I mean, he's drawn very similar and the voice is similar enough.
It's amazing how much Mike Judge has done as far as stuff.
Mike Judge's stuff, it's all fantastic too, in one way or another. I did
And
not
one,
watch the new Beavis and Butthead movie. I'm terrified.
oh, I didn't know there was one. When did
Oh,
that
there
come
is
out?
one. But we should get back to that when we get to talking about
Oh,
because
yeah,
we didn't
movies.
finish your goals yet, Jeremy.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I've got some other goals. Oh, I said keep plants alive and harvest fruit. That's kind of like a, not really, sort of.
I saw a tiny fruit on the internet, Jeremy.
Okay, yeah, I did get some Barbados cherries, so that tree is still alive. So I have kept some trees alive and some things I've killed. So, it's a little bit of mixed bag there. Um, I also, it's gonna sound ridiculous, but I've wanted, along with losing weight, I've been wanting to kind of like be able to support myself on my hands in a sit position. That sounds like a ridiculous goal, but I'm pretty sure I
Okay,
can't
like
do
putting your
that.
hands on the chair and push it up and getting off the chair.
Right, or like on the
And
floor. You know what I'm saying?
okay.
And I don't think I can do that. But we can all dream, I guess. Um, I know that sounds
Yep.
ridiculous, probably.
Well, I'm thinking about. I don't even know. Are my arms long enough to do that on the floor? Like, do they go below my?
That's I
I
think
mean, I don't
I
know.
think it's physical. I don't know. It's a challenge for sure. Um,
Okay.
and then I also said I'd improve at the baritone ukulele, which I have done, and I'm not gonna I'm not gonna prove that right now, but it's
But I believe you. I trust.
thank you.
Why would you lie to me, Jeremy? I trust you.
Well, yeah. I mean, I also went to space a couple months ago, so you know,
Wow.
yeah, I
Oh,
did do
you know
that
what I
one.
improved this year, Jeremy?
What's that?
My eyesight. I'm using bifocals now.
Really?
Yeah, and they're
How's that work?
fantastic.
Well, that's
It's
nice.
it's amazing. I could see things at my desk on my monitors here, without having to do weird stuff because that's what I was starting to have to do with my distance glasses.
Yeah, I
It was
should.
blurry with and without my glasses with just distance.
Hmm.
So I'd be in
Well,
here.
I should probably I should probably get my vision checked at some point. It's always been like I don't know, 2025 isn't that like it's like close to perfect, but not quite perfect. But at the
Well,
same
as
time
we get
now,
old, things get worse.
yeah. I mean, I'm using these like cheater glasses, I guess, when I solder stuff. So now it's a little bit harder to like focus on like stuff
Yeah,
like right
that's
in
a
front
good
of me.
reason to get your eyes checked
Yeah,
because a
maybe.
lot of people avoid it and just buy buy the reading glasses at the drugstore or the Walmart or something, but they're never correct. They're close, but not right, which is worse. Sometimes that's worse for your eyes.
Yeah.
I understand.
Well, I got my eyes checked in I think it was 2018 or something. Anyway, basically I was having some problems, so I better get it checked. And he did it, said it was basically was fine. And he gave me an appointment for it's either 2019, and I basically, or he said you should come get it checked again in 2019. I put it off for a while, and then it was 2020, and then I'm
And
not going
now
to
it's
the doctor in
2022.
2020, and now it's 2022. So I guess I need to go see him. So
I really
yeah,
like my new eye doctor. She's fantastic,
okay.
but
Well,
that doesn't help you any.
if I visit Plano, you'll have to tell me.
Yeah,
Give
she's
me
at
a
the Costco.
oh at
That
Costco.
surprised me. There were all kinds of good recommendations. I was looking for a new eye doctor. I said, well, everybody says nice things about the Costco eye doctor here, so I'm
Well, I
gonna
do
give
have
it a
a
try.
Costco membership. Um,
You don't need a they can't. There's laws or something. You can always get your eyes checked even without the
really,
membership. I don't have a
and
yeah. I don't have a membership.
could I get a hot dog and a drink for $1.50 too? Well, I
I
was
cannot because I don't have the membership. I think.
well. Anyway, that's kind of a good segue into one thing I just wanted to talk about. Unless we want to talk about goals some more.
No, I think that was a lot of goals. I'm ready to hear what you want to tell me about.
Yeah. So this is just a tiny little snippet, but I bought a sink, a faucet from Costco because our kitchen sink is leaking. So gonna have to figure out how to install that. But if it's
Yep.
anything like the bathroom sinks that I also bought from Costco, then shouldn't be too bad. I don't know. You got any thoughts about that, Pat?
Uh, I've never installed a sink. I've only replaced the faucets in the back, but
Sorry,
that was a
the
long
faucet.
time ago.
Faucet is what I'm talking about here.
Oh, not the whole
So,
sink, just the. Yeah, you'll have no trouble. The
okay,
worst
good.
part is if you don't have the right tools to unscrew the. Yeah, because I imagine you've got to be upside down under your cabinet, squeezed in, reaching up,
Yeah,
probably. They have a
yeah, I
special
guess.
tool for taking off those nuts, those. Because it's like a pipe. They're on a pipe fit. You can't just put a. You don't have room for a wrench, and there's a tool for that. That I don't remember what it looks like at all.
Okay.
But if you have the
Well,
tool, it's way easier.
we will. I'll get to it when I get to it. It's being shipped to me, so you know. Until then, I've got a pan under the sink, so that's
Yeah,
you know.
we had a leak in our kitchen sink this year. It was the garbage disposal got a crack in it.
Oh, that's more. That's a bigger deal.
Yeah, and I don't know how to do that. We had a guy do that. It was not that expensive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess the good and the bad thing was I called the plumber a plumber that I very much trust, and he said, "Oh, well, I'm going to be." The message says I'm going to be gone till December 28th. So I'm like, oh. So then I look at it and I'm like, oh, I can do this myself. So perhaps that'd save me a lot of money. I don't know,
Yeah,
or maybe it's costing just a bunch of money. You'll have to ask me next time we talk, I
yeah. Oh,
guess.
you should have told us about faucets because me and Brian were shopping for new faucets when he needed a new faucet, and he got one where you touch it to turn it on, so you could have dirty, filthy hands, and you just kind of give it
Oh,
an elbow,
yeah,
and
I
that's
saw that,
genius.
and I thought, well,
And
why
there's
would I
other
need that?
ones I
That's
liked that have a super strong jet in the middle. You turn them on to spray. There's one that it puts a cone of water to keep splashes in, and it shoots like a laser jet water cutter stream down the middle, just blasts food off of things.
that
But
sounds
you can't get
dangerous.
both. You can't get both touch and the super jet in the same. At least last year, you couldn't get the
Hmm,
both in one faucet. I think
okay,
both sound fantastic. I would like either one, and I don't know which one's better.
okay. Well, anyway, that's
I think
we'll
you're going
see.
to do well, Jeremy.
Thank you, Pat. I appreciate your confidence in me, and I bought a somewhat expensive sink or somewhat expensive faucet, but I feel like that'll be well offset by the plumber I'm not going to have to pay, or
Yeah.
maybe not if there's a big leak and I can
Remember
get
what
that.
brand you bought. Write
Okay.
it down or something, because all the fixtures that came in our bathrooms here, we don't know whose they are, so we can't replace the. We've had two different plumbers in the house since we bought it. Neither of them knew what cartridge goes in the.
Oh man. Well, the
So then
great thing about
you have to replace them if you can't find the cartridges, right? So it's a.
well, actually, I may not even write it down because I think like if you buy it online, like Costco, you just have a record of it anyway.
You do well.
So
Just make sure you don't. In 5 years, 10 years, make sure you don't forget, because that's when you'll need it, and that's a long.
yeah,
That's a
I
long
guess you're
time.
right about that.
And it would
So
be if you write it on a little tag and put it under the sink, like tie it to the
that's a
water line.
good
Then the
idea.
next owners of your house will be like, "Oh, it's a Kohler ABXY2 or something or whatever it is," and then they'll call you and praise you. Oh, Jeremy, you stopped moving. Did we lose Jeremy? He's not moving in YouTube either. We're having technical difficulties. This is the part where I have to do a little dance or something. I'm still moving in YouTube. I could see that. That's a good sign for me. But Jeremy is 99% uploaded. Uh oh. Jeremy left. This is only water. Isn't that a bummer? I can't keep coffee warm. I can't keep a nice latte warm for an hour of podcasting. If I knew how to juggle, this is the part where I would juggle. Oh, Jeremy's coming back. It's asking me to let him in.
All right, am I back?
Did it let you in, Jeremy?
Yep, looks like I'm back. So, all good here? You've been holding it down?
No, everything's fine now. You're
Okay,
back.
cool. Well, yeah, that being said, we were, what else do we want to talk about? I know we had a few things we wanted to kind of
I have a
think
list
about.
here, Jeremy. Where'd it go?
So,
I heard you've been
oh,
playing around with Stable Diffusion.
yeah, so that's a bit of
What?
disaster.
For anybody who doesn't know, Stable Diffusion is one of these new artificial intelligence things where you give it a prompt, you type in words like you tell it you want to see Rick Astley as a Garbage Pail Kid, and it will give you back a picture of Rick Astley as a Garbage Pail Kid. I have some of those. I was trying to put celebrities in, and I figured I could rickroll myself with Rick Astley.
Yeah,
But
well,
they came out fantastic. They looked like Rick Astley.
oh, it actually looked good.
Oh my goodness, yeah, they were fantastic.
Well, my results have not been so good. In fact, you can see it on it's at Create Invent Pod on Twitter, the Create Invent Podcast, Twitter feed. Um, so first I tried to do a stable diffusion image of, the cartoon Puss in Boots in Zardoz orange bandolier, kind of think about our conversation with Mr. Forbits. And yeah, it turned out even weirder than you would expect. I mean, maybe not weird compared to the movie, but the first one looks kind of like a raccoon with it's like he's got cargo pants, but on his shirt. You know, it's very strange. And
Yeah.
then
I get a lot of folks with 3 arms, or the wrong number of fingers, or eyes that don't make sense. But
yeah, well, and then I thought, well, maybe we should have a new logo for the Create Invent podcast, and I put that in, and the first one says Create in
internet,
Vienta. I don't know. And then the second one looks like, I don't know. It's like, I guess I could say this because they're not real people. They look like, first guy looks like there's something wrong with him, and the second guy kind of does too. I
the
don't know, but
first
it
guy
says
looks kind of like Ringo Starr
kind
with
of,
weird teeth,
yeah,
and
but
he's a little bit balder.
it
Is
says
Ringo Starr bald?
I don't think so. But yeah, I guess you're
Well,
right.
this guy is.
But yeah, it says create inane pout. So, anyway, my results have not been so good. So Pat, is there a way to get actual good results from this, or is it just a bunch of hype?
Yes, there are. Well, all those fancy pictures, you see really cool pictures on the internet. My understanding is somebody sits down and types things in for like an hour or three trying to get good combinations of words that work. Yeah, and then they ask for a couple of hundred pictures with the good prompt they finally come up with. Then they pick out the best ones and they run those through more filters, and it's a lot of work. But I've just been doing simple things. Like I was writing up an article about some things I was doing with Tailscale, and blog posts are better if there's pictures in between to break things up. And there's no pictures for just stuff that's just software. So I typed in things like I needed a nefarious hacker stealing. So I was doing all kinds of weird little phrases like that. And I got all kinds of people in black hoodies with weird faces and little computers, sometimes running away with them. And I saved a few. They're fantastic to just throw in the middle of a blog post for a weird, it's where you would normally put a stock photo or something. You could put a One guy had weird VR glasses. I can't
Ye-
say what some of the people looked like. It's not appropriate to say it, but it's not good.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess for something like that, if you're looking for like a weird hacker type thing, it would kind of make sense that that would be a. I'll be honest. What you described to me, the glasses and stuff. I guess the first thing I think is you know, LeVar Burton on Star Trek: The Next Generation. You know,
Yeah, they were
is
not
that
that streamlined. These were more like FPV goggles, but not on straight and weird. And he was holding them down like an old person looking through their glasses. I think, kind of like one
okay?
of these.
So not
It
quite
was.
as. I guess he wasn't really supposed to be cool in the show, but not as cool as him even. You know, on the
Yeah,
show.
no, not nearly as cool as LeVar Burton. I bet this guy couldn't even read, and LeVar Burton has his own show about
Yeah,
reading. So
LeVar Burton
there's
could definitely read.
for
At least,
sure.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
where are you
mean,
getting your stable diffusion image? Where are you going to have them generated?
what do you mean? I just searched Stable Diffusion. Is there a better way to do this?
Well, I found something called Stable Horde, HORDE. It's an
Okay.
open source project where you can join the Horde with your computer and your GPU. And I don't want to say customers, users like me. I could go to the website, I punch in my prompt, and there are lots of more settings. You can use different diffusion engines and different presets and stuff that I don't understand. There's lots of options. But they show you what some of them do. Like some of them will give you back cartoony art, some of them will give you back like anime stuff. There's
Hmm.
all kinds of options. But when you put your prompt in and hit go, it sends that out to the people that are donating their GPUs to the stable horde,
Hmm.
and it's a crowdsourced setup, and and they have a Patreon. I'm giving them a couple of bucks a month since I'm using their thing. I thought that was reasonable. I don't know if I'm doing it right, but I'm doing it and I like it. So
Okay. Well, cool. So you've had decent results with Stable Diffusion. Better than I have.
definitely better, but you got to keep adding words to it to get more. But it's not going to work with everything. Like you could put celebrity names. If you just put a celebrity name in,
Yeah.
it gives you things that look a lot like I put a whole bunch of Dwight Schrute from The Office stuff in there, like Dwight Schrute in weird situations, and you could tell it knows that Dwight is angry and has glasses. I mean, that everything is angry with glasses.
But it's not him. It looks a
It's
little. It's
definitely
like
not him, but you know that AI has seen Dwight Schrute, has seen images that are labeled Dwight Schrute for sure.
that's funny. So, well, I guess speaking of that, Pat, we were. Was there any movie? I'm just trying to think. Was speaking of TV and movies and stuff, was there something you want to talk about that, or was there?
Oh, I
Seems like
swear there was a TV something that we were. I've been this week. I've been watching Andor,
oh, is that
this
good?
new Star Wars show.
Yeah.
My friend Brian told me this is fantastic. I should watch it, and I'm not really enjoying it very much. It feels
Okay.
like there's too much filler. Like
Okay.
I don't want to give anything away, but I'm gonna say that the way the opening scene of the fourth episode, I feel like that should have been the opening scene of the second or maybe the third episode. Everything
Mm,
before that should have been.
yeah.
But maybe I'm wrong. I'm only halfway through. Maybe when I get to the end, I needed to know stuff from the
Well,
first three episodes that seems like
did
unnecessary world building.
you see The Hobbit, that movie? There was like three
No,
movies. Right?
I've
Well,
read the book.
I saw the first movie, and I was like, this is really just like just like too much. I don't need to know all you riding around a bunny sled or whatever you're doing. It was just like nothing happened in this movie, and I think they had three movies in this. So I feel like there should be a rule or even maybe a law that if you make a movie about a book, if it's not fantastic, if you make more than one movie out of a book, then You know, if it's not like really good each episode, then maybe you could need to go to prison or something. Is that too harsh? I don't know.
Well, I think it's
Because I
okay if it's just not for you.
yeah, I guess that's true.
And they're expensive movies though, so I hope they were enjoyed by a lot of people
I'm
because
sure I'm sure
that's
they
kind of how
were.
that
I
has
was
to
just
work.
because I like the Lord of the Rings movies, but I felt like well, it's one movie for one book.
One book.
You know, it's not like three. It's but they probably made
Yeah.
more money that way. So anyway, you said you were saying you watched the new Bill and Ted movie, and you said it
I
was
did watch the new Bill and Ted movie. Bill and
kind of
Ted's
disappointing.
oh boy.
Am I flaking out again?
No, I'm trying to remember the subtitle.
Face the music, right?
Face the Music.
Yeah,
Yes.
it wasn't. I watched. You told me you finished it because you were required to, I guess.
You
So
have
you
to.
thought
Yeah. It
I,
was
I
all right.
watched I watched about
I
half
had
of
the
it.
same problem with the Bill and Ted movie as I do with the new Coming to America movie.
What's that?
They're both similar in that the movie isn't just about Bill and Ted, and it isn't just about Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall. It's really about their kids.
Ah,
But it's not about one or the other though. There's two sets of stories going on in both of them, and you don't need both. It would be a good movie with one or the other.
I see what you're saying. I thought Coming
It's
to America was a better movie than Bill and Ted's.
the new
I
Coming
finished.
to America.
Yes, the new Coming to, and the old one was good too. I
Yeah.
didn't appreciate it, but I liked at first. But I watched the old Coming to America, and I like how he sees like the whatever the Wall Street guys from the other movie, and he like gives them like
Yes.
that was
Yes, the Duke
hilarious.
brothers.
The Duke.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and in the new one,
He
he
just
sees like
throws them
his
$1 million or something,
yeah
and they're like, "We're back in business."
back in yeah. So that was pretty good. So
That was a good
anyway,
callback.
yeah, good callback. So yeah. So anyway, it's got a. Actually, I've been watching this show called Alone. Have you seen this? It's with
Ooh, no.
basically they put these people in the woods and just say you got to live like this, and you know whoever taps out loses. In I guess we're to the point now where everybody's pretty much starving, and I guess they're
Is
just
this
waiting for
a?
every.
You make it sound like it's a reality show.
Yes, it is a reality show,
Okay, so
but
it's
it's
probably
not.
not whatever I just IMDb'd because this is not a reality show.
Well, probably not. So it's but uh but yeah, basically they just all like make their huts and stuff. You know, I think they have like implements they can choose, and then basically they just
Mm-hmm.
leave them out there to starve until you know they decide to tap out. They call and it's pretty entertaining. You know, it's like oh I caught a fish or you know these people are eating like fish that washed up on shore and stuff. I'm like
Oh,
that's
those
probably
are
not.
not good to eat. I think that's a bad idea.
I wouldn't think so. The guy's like, well, this one has worms, but I think it's just in the guts. I'm like,
Hmm.
all right,
Okay,
but he seemed not to get sick from it. So anyway, it's
I'm not
pretty
eating that.
interesting. So yeah, um, yeah, I guess yeah. So yeah, let's see. I guess another thing, Pat. You know, we talked about.
Mm.
You know, I feel like we got a bunch of random points, but
That's
you know,
okay.
guess it's okay.
We could cut this up, you know.
Yeah, that's true. As you know, you've seen the new Twitter blue stuff. You know, Twitter got bought by Elon Musk. He was going to make everybody, you know, verified if they paid $8, and now he's not doing that exactly. So now you got to pay $8, and it's you get Twitter blue, and you get a interesting name thing, but doesn't mean you're like famous. So I was a little bit disappointed about that because I was kind of like, that might be worth $8, but it's I
Well,
don't feel like it's
just
worth
by
eight
selling it
dollars.
for $8 devalued the whole thing. The whole value of having a blue check mark was that hardly anybody had one.
Right.
And if everybody has one, then it's really worth nothing.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like I was like, well, are people gonna like make fun of me if I have a blue check mark at this point? Which they probably would anyway. But they would certainly, you know, now you can be verified but not have a blue check mark or just like a B. Twitter
It's a
Blue or
different
something?
check mark or something. I haven't been followed. I've been off of Twitter for about a month now.
Okay, well,
I
good for
haven't
you.
tweeted. I haven't read anything. I've clicked on a few things that people post, but I haven't, looked at a timeline.
Yeah,
And
no, I haven't seen you there lately, so I guess you know, but that's probably I don't know. I feel like I've made a certain choice to like have Twitter as my social media thing, and I don't use
yep.
Instagram, I don't use Facebook, and for better or worse, that's I just feel like it'd be too much time to to divide myself out
Well,
too much.
it's true, but the audience is changing. A lot of the interesting people, a good number of interesting people that show up on my timeline announce that they're not going to be there anymore, and that I mean, boy, that's a discussion that we could
Yeah,
have, but
that is
it's
that
way
is
in
a
the weeds.
discussion.
But I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know how good the audience is going to be now, and I really don't like the idea of having to pay to create content. And it sounds. I know they haven't made all the changes yet, but it sure does sound like you're going to have to pay the $8 a month to show up as part of the algorithm
Hmm,
at some point going forward, and that seems. It
hmm.
all seems goofy. I don't have a high opinion of any of this.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what
Yeah,
happens in a year from now. I
yeah.
mean, I feel like Twitter is the one thing I'm used to as far as that, and I feel like there's not like a real good alternative. I mean,
There is
people have
not.
gone
I've thought that through too.
to Mastodon, but it's like, when's the last time you saw like, CNN quoting something in Mastodon? Not that I watch CNN, but I imagine if I did, I wouldn't see that. It's
Yeah. Well, you can see in our Discord that the bummer about Mastodon is that nobody knows where to sign up. Smart people have gone into our Discord and said, "Yeah, I was going to sign up for Mastodon, but I don't know which server to pick." And if legitimately smart people don't know where to go, that means there's going to be no audience on
right.
Mastodon. Nobody's going to figure out how to get there.
I mean, I think it's a great idea. I mean, as far as
Oh,
I
I
can
do
tell,
too.
it's basically like Twitter as if it was email, right? Is that kind of
Yeah,
so? That's amazing, but it I don't know.
but
I
there's
shouldn't
too many
judge because
questions to ask before you even are able to send your first toot or
yeah,
toots over there.
and toot that sounds even. I mean, tweet sounds kind of ridiculous too if you really think about it, but toot
It
sounds
does.
kind of ridiculous too.
But if you want to send a tweet, you go to Twitter, you log in, you tweet, and that's all you do. And but nobody knows what somebody says. I want to sign up for Mastodon, and then they have to solve a problem immediately. They have to figure out. They have to make a choice that they don't know what
Yeah,
to do.
yeah. So I don't know. But yeah, there's not a real good
Yep.
alternative. I feel like
Well, Facebook has too much family and friends in it. I'm not. I'm not interested in keeping up with any of that, and that just gets in the way. That's friction I don't want to have.
yeah,
Instagram is just pictures and video, and you can't get out. There's no text there, and you can't. I'm more interested in getting you out to my blog than I am staying in this ecosystem.
right.
And the other choice is Twitter.
But yeah, no, it's like Twitter. It's like Facebook's. Oh, you connect with your family and friends. It's like Twitter. Almost nobody that I know quote unquote on Twitter is my family and friend. Most people are, well, some people are now my friends. You're my friend. I guess I know you from Twitter, which is kind of
Yeah,
it's like I know you from the internet, but
but I
it's
haven't
like
gone to connect. People, dozens of people that I went to high school with have not found me on Twitter, have not seeked me out on Twitter and tried to connect.
right. Yeah,
Right?
it's like
I'm
I
happy
just
about
felt
that. That's not what I'm there for.
yeah, exactly. I'm there for and I'm not. I guess the thing is with Twitter, people Twitter's full of whatever horrible politics, yada yada. But a lot of it to me, at least from an end user, it's about all about who you follow, and you can have that or you cannot, and somebody could also make the argument that well, I support this or I don't support this, but you could say that about anything. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's just like with me, I kind of like would like companies in general to be politics neutral, and I would my vision of Twitter, my ideal vision of Twitter is you follow whoever you want, and then they tweet what they want, and if you don't like it, you don't follow, and that's just how it should work. But
I don't
you
want to
know,
go off into the weeds, Jeremy, but politics are things like, should we spend tax money to repair this bridge, or should we put a park in? The things people are saying are politics now, where half the people think that someone shouldn't exist. And that's not politics, but people say it is. It's,
well,
I mean, I don't want to say
anyway,
half, but yeah, it's tough to support someone who doesn't want people I know to live the life that they're already living. That's crummy. And
well, you know,
yeah, and I'm not saying to leave Twitter. I don't think anyone should leave Twitter. I don't know. I don't know anything. I don't know enough. I have no expertise here. I just have feelings.
yeah. Anyway, so
Yeah.
one thing about Twitter though, I did notice if you post a mystery cable on there, people definitely talk about that.
They do. Do you have any certainty what your cable would be used for?
So I posted a picture of a cable on Twitter, and it had I think the consensus was one side was a mini DIN connector,
Oh, that's definitely a DIN. It's a 7-pin DIN with a little plastic key in the middle somewhere.
right? And then the other side looks like a mini USB, but I'm not even sure if that's right.
It's got to be
So
mini USB. Well, it's the right. I'm not saying it connects to USB. It might be. You could abuse cables for anything ports for anything. If you're designing hardware, you could do whatever you want. But like I know you said on the go cable, but on the go I don't think really showed up in any hardware until after phones were all shipping with micro USB.
well, that
And
was
it
my
was hit or
initial
miss
guess.
even
I
then.
don't actually think it's that at this point,
Yeah,
even when I posted it, to be honest.
but
But
that's what's weird. If it's a Roomba cable, and somebody posted a picture of a Roomba cable that looks very much like that, what is a Roomba plugging into with a mini U? I don't even. I'm baffled, and I want to know more, Jeremy.
I don't know. Well, anyway, it's kind of like it's like a mystery of you unearth this new pyramid and you have no idea who was built it. It's like technical archaeology or something. So,
It is.
um, yeah, but it's I guess that's what I enjoy it for. I don't know. I try to stay out of the weeds, and I guess it's just I don't know.
We do our best, Jeremy. It's all we can do.
Yeah. So yeah, Pat. Yeah, I guess I'm trying to think. I guess that's kind of what we wanted to say. I guess one thing, for me, just looking at my goals for 2023, one thing I want to kind of look at is I want to figure out how to balance learning with getting paid, and maybe track my time better. No, I mean because a lot of
Yeah.
articles I write, it's like okay, I got paid this, and maybe the hourly rate's good, maybe it's bad, maybe whatever, but some it's almost like I have to balance learning with getting paid with kind of the exposure that I get, and just kind of having to I can't do one without the other, but it's just
Yeah.
kind of
Well, and
trying
you're
to
drawing a triangle. You said three
right.
different things.
So
That
so
makes
yeah,
it
it's
even more
it's kind of like
complicated.
was it, do you want something good, do you want it fast, or do you
Yeah.
want it cheap? It's kind of like that with me. It's like, do I need to learn, do I need to get paid more, or do I need to get exposure? And hopefully all of those are good, but usually I have to kind of balance it. So that's one thing I kind of want to. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a
Nobody.
it's a,
Most people don't realize how much work goes into writing, 1,000, 2,000 word article. If you don't, there's research, even if it's not purposeful research. Everything that I write, I've done something. I've done work and then summarized it essentially, right? So there's hours of tinkering or reading or research or something ahead of sitting down and doing the easy part and writing the article at the end.
Yeah, yeah, and I guess the thing is, in theory, the more I learn, the easier it is to do more articles. So it's like if my hourly rate
Yep.
isn't so good here, then maybe later maybe I'm getting effectively paid twice as much, but then the technology changes and you got to start it all over again. So it's kind of I don't know.
Yep. And you use the word exposure. I don't think that's the word I would use, but the more exposure you have, the more you make on your future writing. Like
That's
like our blogs, they've all every 6 months our traffic was pretty much doubling for years. So when you're getting ten visits a day, you feel like, boy, I'm writing all this stuff and nobody's reading it. But then 10 becomes 20, becomes 40, becomes 1,000 before you know it, just because you're putting in that time and putting in the content. And you know
yeah, yeah. No, I think exposure is maybe it's a word that people are like, oh, you can't like work for exposure, and that's absolutely true. But I don't know. It's
no, but
even
you're
even
building
like this
building
even
up
like this
reputation and following. And
right. Well, I
yeah.
mean, even this podcast, it's not like we get paid a whole lot for it, but it is something that we get some huge benefits from as far as people we get to meet and just kind of putting people know me, I suppose, from this. People know you. People know even Max, our old host, Max Maker, and people that are on here, they get that benefit too of people being able to know who they are.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was kind of cool. Like actually, one time a somebody had him on before. Anyway, it was just he wanted to get in contact. He had a business opportunity for another guest, and I thought I had on. I'm like, yeah, I can connect you guys. So I don't know quite know what
Networking,
happened, but
Jeremy.
what's that?
It's networking.
Yeah, but it was it
All of this
was
comes down to networking in one way or another.
yeah, but anyway, in that particular instance, I felt like it was cool that I got to like maybe put two people together that could benefit from each
Well, and if
other's.
if we roll back a bit to Twitter, to our Twitter discussion, it doesn't matter how many followers you have on Twitter. It matters that you've accrued the right particular followers and the right interactions. Because, like you said, we're doing this podcast together here because of Twitter,
Right,
right? It doesn't matter if I had 1,000 followers at the time or I was. It matters that you were following me at that time, or or whatever that,
right.
and we were interacting. That was what was important. I could have had 3 followers as long as one of them was you. That this may have worked out, right?
Well, that's very nice of you to say, but it's
Well,
true. It's not a compliment necessarily, but it's a interesting
yeah.
reality.
Well, I'm just trying to say that the actual number of followers, the actual number of people reading your things doesn't matter. It matters that the right people are reading and consuming your content.
You know what's
Yeah,
what's
because you could buy
interesting?
100,000 Twitter followers for $20 or something, but it's just a number. None of those fake
Yeah,
followers are going to invite you to be a co-host on their podcast, right? That's
well, that's true. At least you wouldn't think so. Um,
no, it's very unlikely.
what's funny? I was talking to this. I was telling this to somebody the other day. Telling them what I do. I was like, yeah, I've written for Popular Science. I've written, I like to throw that out there because it just sounds important, even though apparently
Yeah,
it's not a print magazine anymore. But
we don't know
anyway,
that.
anyway, and I said, what's interesting is I'll write like white papers for different industrial things, and it seems to me like the fewer people that read what I write, the more I get paid for it, and it's really kind of weird. But I guess what you're saying is basically, and what kind of the conclusion I came to as well is that even if 100 people read this, even 10 people read this, if that one person is Jeff Bezos and he buys $100 million worth of rocket deal things,
Yep,
then I need to be charging more actually. So
yep. It all depends, and it's hard to figure out.
yeah, and I don't have the answer. I've been able to make a living at this, but it's it's always like you just I guess it's always business. You're always figuring out things as you go, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think I want to get paid to write, Jeremy. I enjoy writing, and I think that would suck all of the fun right out of it.
Yeah, well, like some time ago, one of my customers they wanted somebody else to write for them, and I contacted you. I was like, yeah, you interested? And
I remember this.
he's like, no, I don't want to be paid for this. I was like,
No.
that is
Well,
a strange
I
strange
know
thing.
from sometimes you hit a blog topic that gets traction on Google, right, in the search results. And sometimes you have a blog that's got some profitable, affiliate links or something in it. And they're not always the same, but every now and then they meet, right? And you get something that's popular and has profit potential in it. But sometimes those topics are the worst to write. They're not enjoyable, they're not fun, they're not, and I hate chasing those. I've done that before, and I'm like, I didn't like doing that. That was, I need to just have. It would be nice if it just happened that something profitable was also fun,
Yeah.
but it
Well, I
doesn't.
guess somebody else decided to do that one.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, all things considered, though, I'm quite happy with what I do. But it's always a mindset of how can you make more money? How can you do things more efficiently? How can you have more fun? How can you do more things that you're interested in? And half the time, it's just trying to niche down and make sure I'm not like going off and doing something I shouldn't be. Not shouldn't be, but I had a video I haven't published about refinishing my baritone ukulele, and it's
I
like
think you should publish it.
I think I should publish. I
I
honestly,
do.
I
Well,
thought about.
the
Go
people
ahead.
I'm watching on YouTube that tell you how to do better at YouTube are saying you niching down is old school, and that's not what you should be doing
Hmm,
anymore.
I
But
don't know. I honestly kind of thought, well, maybe I should make like another channel, but then I don't have time for that. You know what I
yep.
mean? So
Well, and that's something else we learned when we put up a me and Brian put up a third blog, and we were able to get that from 0 to hundreds of clicks per day in, yeah, I think the first 3 months were crickets, and then it shot up
hmm,
to a few hundred clicks per day. And the idea being, what we kind of figured out is, if you plateau one thing, if it's not growing faster, it's easy to get another thing to,
to that plateau.
start another thing to catch up and, ride your other wave.
Yeah, I mean, maybe so. I guess what you're saying is maybe it would be worth starting another channel, or
Yeah,
maybe.
it could. Well, I don't know how YouTube and Google algorithms are different but similar. So
Hmm,
I don't know for sure, but I suspect that, yes, I think if you start another channel, it can catch up with your other one
hmm,
pretty
interesting.
quickly.
Well, I don't know. I guess with that, it's like it's just a matter of I wish I had 36 hours in a day.
Yeah.
So, but maybe that's my biggest goal for 2023. Just try to use my time more efficiently and just get
Time
some awesome
management.
projects done. What's that?
Time management.
Time
It's
management.
a hard
Yeah.
problem, Jeremy.
Um, but yeah, well, I mean, I think I don't know. You feel like we've covered what we needed to, Pat?
I feel like there was an important thing we were going to say, but
Was
oh, I
there?
wanted to ask you about your macro pad. I
Oh,
heard you
yeah.
putting side buttons on there.
So yeah, that's one thing I working on. I got the macro pad here. You can see it a little bit, hopefully. It's
Well, you don't have to hold it up. Put in, we could paste video in. Oh, you've
oh,
got
that's
two
it.
buttons on one
Yeah,
side.
I got two buttons on one side. So this macro pad I'm working on, this is new JC Pro Macro 2. It's got removable keys, and then I'm working on some actual side buttons that you can. I don't know what you'll do with it. It's still a bit of an experimental thing, but it's should be pretty cool. Also using the KB 2040 by Adafruit, which is an RP2040 baseboard, so it should be a lot easier to edit
That's from the
and stuff.
Raspberry Pi folks.
Yes, it's from Raspberry Pi. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about it, and it's I guess that's one thing. I need to go ahead and finish this second Kickstarter so I can you know basically harvest the money, harvest the harvest the time that I've already put into it for money and fun and profit and
Oh, I
such.
like that,
So
Jeremy. You've planted a crop.
I've planted a
And
crop, and I have to harvest it. I can't let it just wither on the vine like I've been doing for the last month or
yep.
two. So,
Well, I'm excited about the side buttons.
yeah,
You
well, I'll
put
have
them
to.
on the wrong side for me. I want the button on the other side.
Well, the great thing is, you can see here I've got dowel pins that are basically holding these buttons in. So there's
Yep.
actually holes for dowel pins on the other side,
Oh, nice.
depending on how you would want to use them. So maybe perhaps you'll be getting one of these bases to try out, Pat.
Ooh, I'm
Yeah,
excited, Jeremy.
if you like.
I
So
heard that. You clunked right into that.
I did clunk right
Watch
into
your
it.
head.
So watch my yeah yeah. But
But that's another thing that you get to. I'm going back to that word exposure. That's the wrong word. But you've had a successful Kickstarter, and this will be a second one. And that's.
yeah,
So it'll
that's
say
cool.
one successful Kickstarter on your page. It'll say there was a previous one. You get to mention it.
Yeah.
You get to
Yeah,
talk
no,
about how you fulfilled it.
it is cool how one thing as far as maybe not content wise, but as far as like products wise, it does build on each other. One thing that's been pretty successful this year is my Easy Fan 2 boards that are used to power Raspberry Pi fans primarily and other stuff like that. I
Hmm.
designed those a year or two ago, and they're still, I'm still selling a few of, a couple a week, but it's not like a ton of money, but it's enough that it's a nice, like, oh, I get an order, I just put it in the mail, and you know,
Yeah.
kind of nice. So it's nice to have that just kind of, I guess you're just banking, as you said, again, as you said, not exposure, but just kind of some stuff that maybe tastes some long-term benefits. So,
Yeah, and maybe the right person buys your macro pad, and then it ends up on Linus Tech Tips or
oh man,
something. Yeah,
maybe. And then I got to figure out how to fulfill way
yeah.
more.
Then you need to be at too many or I. But you know what I mean. You get
Yeah,
something in
yeah.
the right hands, and then the right networking happens, and
I know what you mean. I feel like for the first one, I had it was like I got that good. I got like enough again exposure because we're not supposed to say that, but we've been saying it over and over. I got guys, some people to basically put it out there that maybe weren't like, they weren't Matt Perks famous, but they were somewhat well known. So I
yeah,
got somewhere around 200 orders, but not like 10,000 orders because I wouldn't know what to do
yeah,
with,
yeah. At
so.
what point between 200 and 10,000 do you get scared? Do you
Ooh.
get worried that it's gonna?
I
Scared
think
is the wrong word, but I'm gonna stick with it anyway.
I think I could handle 600.
Okay. So 200 was pretty good then because it didn't
200
reach your
was
scary
good.
zone, but it was a good
Six,
percentage of it.
600 would be a bit much,
Yep.
but you know, at that point, at some point, I guess you get try to get the whole thing made for you, or I don't know, hire some help. So
Yep.
you know, it's a good problem to have.
It is a good problem to have.
So
So Jeremy, where can we find you on the internet?
so yeah, on the internet, my website's jeremyscook.com. I don't update that much. You can also find me on YouTube. If you search for Jeremy Cook or Jeremy S Cook, I'll come up. And then on Twitter, I do use that. I'm at Jeremy S Cook, and yeah, I'm around. Oh, also I did. I've been doing a course on Raspberry Pi stuff, Raspberry Pi products on embedded computing. So I'm actually doing like a live class every month or
Embedded
so.
Computing is a website.
Yeah, embeddedcomputing.com. And anyway, it's been cool. Actually, I don't know that they advertise this well enough, but they're actually giving away a Pico Raspberry Pi Pico when you sign up for the course. So
Oh, cool.
that's pretty neat. So, but yeah, what about you, Pat? Where
Well,
can
I
we
think
find
the only
you?
place you have to go to find me is patshead.com. That's my website. It has links to everywhere else where I show up, and that's where my stuff all lives.
Good.
And I'm on
Well,
this podcast.
yeah,
This is
that's
the
right. And yeah,
Create slash Invent podcast.
yep. Which is where you could find me as well. So yeah, so patshead.com, you want to find Pat, then that's where he's at. Um,
I am.
yeah. So anyway, thanks so much for listening to us tonight and watching us. And Pat, I hope you have a you know great Christmas, happy holidays, and a great New Year. And I will talk to you in 2023.
You too, Jeremy, and I hope everyone else has a fantastic holiday season here. Because there's 27 holidays
Really.
going on right now.
So,
I don't know if it's 27. It's a lot.
all right. Well, see you later.
See you later. I lost my mouse.